Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Jules, here for WhatCulture.com, joined by Scott Telford.
Hello.
And if we're together, it can mean only one thing. That's right, it's time for some news, so let's hit that jingle.
Hot dang, there's news, give it all you got. I guess it's time for Jules and Scott.
And we're back in the room again. Yes, to that person in the last news video who said I am like a dad trying to get over my horrible dad joke gimmicks. That's the point of getting into YouTube. Yes, there's some news.
Be successful, isn't it?
There's some news today, and it's on Battlefield 5. Now, one of the things that a lot of people maybe critiqued Battlefield 5 for was the fact that it was potentially moving away from a sense of a realistic war setting with items that you might have considered to be wacky, such as a spiked baseball bat, woman with a hook hand, and things like that.
Yes.
Now, not saying that there wasn't a woman with a hook hand in World War II, but I can understand their point in that it was maybe moving away from the sense of realism into something a bit more arcadey. But it did give the game a sense of uniqueness, I'd say, a bit of a flair that maybe it does need something to sort of give
they were sort of like they were sort of broaching this kind of different identity with it. And like you said, in the reveal trailer, they had this like lady with a hook hand, and they had another guy with a katana on the back. The lady also had a spiked baseball bat. It was a lot of stuff that, like, you could argue things like prosthesis obviously were part of World War II, but not on the front lines. It's a big old nuanced debate. But
the thing is, now they've come out. Good old EA come out and just said we're now taking away.
They're basically walking all that stuff back. I mean, so basically, like, you know, to set the scene a little bit, Battlefield's pre-orders are lagging behind Call of Duty by 85%. So EA's initial statement on this stuff was, look, if you don't like it, don't buy it. That was their literal quote. And obviously, you know, money's kind of come into it.
Now they realise that that's actually kind of bad PR, because actually, no, we do want you to buy this.
Yeah, you'd probably like you to buy the game that's going to cost the thousands of dollars. So basically, this guy, basically the community manager and the lead programmer were both talking on, like, being interviewed on this channel called Matavar. They were doing this post beta discussion thing, and they basically got to stage, the community manager got to be the voice of the community, and kind of got to just ask the lead programmer, like, look, we've seen some crazy stuff, some wacky stuff, are we still going to be seeing that in the full game? And he got to say no. They basically said, we're not going to be focusing on those massively crazy customization items, but they kind of like hinted at what they were going for. They said that they liked, you know, that they like people playing online to be able to customize their characters, and they said that by introducing things like prosthesis and by, you know, representing those people, that's a good step forward, because they said, look, we still want to approach World War II through the DICE lens and maybe like highlight, you know, different roles that played in World War II. They obviously got it wrong in as much as there's a much more respectful, educational way to do that. You can totally do a campaign, from my point of view, you could totally do a campaign highlighting the women that played a big role in World War II, or disabled soldiers that still got by. There's totally a way to do that. Their way was to sort of highlight that in a full-on multiplayer, look how badass all this stuff is at once, and it didn't really land. But that was what they said. They said that they hear you loud and clear, and they're walking all that stuff back, and they still want to try and find a balance between customization and authenticity. Yeah,
I mean, for me, I'd be quite saddened if they completely removed any of the sort of air quotes fun aspects of this, because you look at films like TV shows like Band of Brothers, like Saving Private Ryan, things like that. There are elements of humour, especially if you look at older films like Full Metal Jacket. It's one of those things where humour was used in any war to try and get over the horrors that you have to face on a day-to-day basis. You develop a shell, and some people do come out with horror stuff. You do find people that maybe used giant machetes instead of their little Bowie knives that they were supplied with. That sort of insanity does get across. I think, in my opinion, I don't understand why they've come across and said it's wacky. I think that they should have just lent into the curve and just said, like, yeah, okay, maybe somebody did have a katana sword on their back.
I guess
maybe he had Japanese heritage in this. Maybe he had this. Like, what's to say that you can't have these things?
Well, I think that's obviously what they were trying to do, and just like highlight different facets of the war. And like, I would argue that there's absolutely, like, there's totally a way to do that, and there's like that needs to be done at some point. I mean, we've seen the same basic white dudes charging forward doing the same. We've seen this a million times, so it's definitely worth doing other things. And like DICE already did this in Battlefield 1. They had the vignette style campaign that let you play a bunch of different characters all around the world.
Yeah, and they were all very different.
And it's like, I'd love to see a Battlefield that did, like, you make someone who's like disabled or handicapped or whatever you want to call it a main character, and delve into their struggles and how they got through and how they still took part in the war. Like, same with female soldiers. And
I understand that there has to be a sensitivity that needs to go into this, and I never ever thought for a second that DICE were maybe trying to make fun of people for that, and I don't think that they were trying to make it lighthearted. I just think that they were just trying to show that there's an insane slice that comes with war that does affect the fractured, the psyche that gets fractured in there.
Well, it seems like they were basically shooting for, this is what like a whole multiplayer landscape could look like if all of these different walks of life all came together. And that's a cool idea. It didn't necessarily come across in the reveal as well as it could have been. But now that he's explained it a bit, you do kind of see what they were going for, even though it didn't necessarily land. So yeah, the core takeaway though is that they're walking a lot of that stuff back. They said they're still viewing World War II through the DICE lens, and they still want to be very forward and progressive with stuff, which again is a good, noble intent. So we'll have to see what the final product is. But they're aware of it. They're basically taking forward. They're going to be kind of rolling a lot of that stuff back.
So there we go. Battlefield 5 maybe is going to get slightly less, in their words, wacky. But yeah, let us know what you think about that down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules.
But Scott.
You can follow me at RetroJ with a 0 on Twitter.
And I always forget the Twitter names every time. Just search my name. It's fine. Scott Tailford on Twitter. It's better than my handle anyway.
Yeah, you do the legwork for him. Brilliant. Yeah, as always, you've been awesome, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.